Welcome back to Live With, brought to you by Yamamoto Nutrition. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today's guest is the 2017 NPC Summer Classic Teenage Overall Champ and Men's Open Overall Champ. I'm talking about 19-year-old Giovanni DelBiondo. Welcome.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
You made quite a splash about a week ago, and not only did you win the teen division, but you won the Men's Open overall in rather spectacular fashion, I might say, up in New York. And a lot of people are talking about you. You got the Teenage Nationals coming up in less than a week, and all is well in your world. Congratulations on the big win.
Crazy. I feel like I'm dreaming. I can't believe it.
Now, your dad was a bodybuilder back in the day, probably when I was competing. I think we might have even competed at some of the same shows. At what age were you really first exposed to the bodybuilding world and where you started getting interested in
I mean, growing up, even as a kid, I'd say like 4 years old, I was watching Pumping Iron, and my dad was making me hit poses and stuff. When I was around 10, I would go to the gym, and he'd show me how to do negatives on the preacher curl, negatives on the leg extension, really, advanced training stuff, which I believe has really helped me to get to where I am now.
Training at 10 years old with weights?
I wouldn't, obviously not like I'm training now, but I was getting, the chance to see how to do the form correctly and how to do the exercises.
At what point did you get kind of hooked and say, you know what, I really like this, and this is something I might want to do, get up on stage and pose and stuff like that?
I say when I was 15, I said, I was playing football at the time, and I'm like, I don't really like this. I think I need to find something I can express myself a little bit better. And I thought bodybuilding was a perfect alley. So I got ready for a show. I dieted on 30 carbs for like 3.5 months. I had no idea what a cheat meal was. I dropped a bunch of weight, and I was right on stage, and it was awesome. I fell in love.
Now, were you a heavy kid? Were you a very lean kid when you were in your early teens?
I would have to say like skinny fat. I mean, I guess I had a big bone structure, but not really that impressive at all.
When did you first learn about how to eat properly? Because all kids like to eat junk food. Let's face it. When did you start eating like the bodybuilder type lifestyle diet?
Well, I knew that got to be eating your high protein and your fats and your carbs. But I had a guy who I'm very thankful for meeting. He showed me how to diet for my first show, and he really helped me try to understand it. I mean, I don't know.
Your first bodybuilding show?
I was 16. I was 16 on my first show.
And how did that show go?
I competed in juniors, and I beat two guys, 24. But I actually lost to a teenager. I don't know what he's doing now, but I'm curious to see what he's looking like.
Well, you had contacted me earlier in the year, and you said, "Hey, Dave, I want you to help me get ready for Teen Nationals this year." And we started working together, and I saw obviously some tremendous potential. And I'm not the only person who saw that potential in you. I know Ed Connors contacted you. He always seems to find the talent. And, so you got to feel kind of special, when a lot of people who are in the upper echelons of the bodybuilding world are showing interest in you and giving you compliments, right?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Ed Connors is a great guy. He's really raised my confidence, I didn't really know that I had some talent. I knew that I was training hard and doing it, but this made me feel like, hey, maybe I could be something, and I hope that's what I can be.
Now, how do you keep your head together? You're such a young guy. You're getting a lot of compliments from people. Obviously, you just won a Men's Open show in New York. A very good show with some quality competitors up there. How do you keep your head straight and not go nuts? Because a lot of teenagers just don't have the mental fortitude to maybe not let it go to their head, so to speak.
I gotta say that Dad, right there with me, grounded, and plus I got a great coach like you, so I'm always able to just stay humble, and I just love training, and that's what I like to do. I don't let it get to me.
What kind of advice has your dad given you? Obviously, I'm doing your diet and everything, but what did your dad tell you in terms of getting ready for a show, or the idea that people out there are going to criticize you? Is he very supportive and helpful in that sense?
Yeah, he's great. He's really awesome. We put a lot of emphasis on training, and put 100% into training, then the confidence is always going to be there because you know that you left it all in the gym. So if you come in looking off, that's the best you could do. Just got to go back to the grind, come back better next.
Now, it seems like the last couple of years, the teenage division has gotten very competitive at the teen national level, which is great because for a while it had been pretty poor quality. Obviously, going into this year, you're looking for that win. We're looking at some footage right now of you at the win that you had at the Summer Classic right now. And obviously, you're going to have a lot of muscle up there. You have great conditioning. Do you feel confident going into this year's Teen Nationals that you can emerge as the champion?
I do. There are a lot of great competitors, and they're crazy looking. But I have the advantage of being so tall is going to play for me. And plus, I've been doing squats in my deadlifts, and I've been going hard at it. So the thickness I got, I think it's hard to match. And plus, I got the conditioning too. So, hopefully, hope for the best.
You bring up a good point because a lot of very good teen national competitors that I've seen in the past were shorter. They're on the shorter side because it's a little easier to fill out your frame when you're shorter. And let's face it, when you're a teen, you don't have that many years under your belt of training to really put that much muscle on. But you seem to have added a tremendous amount of muscle to your body and filled out this very, very tall frame. What are you, about 6'1"?
I'm actually closer to 6'3".
Wow. Okay. That's tremendous. Have you always been strong? I mean, we're watching you squat 400 pounds like it's a joke almost,
Yeah, I did 15 for 34 reps at grass when I was 17, and that video went pretty viral. It was on a lot of Facebook accounts, big gym accounts. So I always knew how to really push myself in the gym. Right. I like to do sets of 12 squats. Like in the off season, I was with 495, and now I'm back around 405 with that. So deadlifts really easy. The only thing that came, I guess bench came easy. I can't really complain about anything. So it's all good.
Now, had you ever thought about, hey, maybe I'll be a power lifter because you are pretty strong, for a guy your age.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to tear any muscles, and
that's smart.
I think I got the look of a bodybuilder.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to do powerlifting, no.
Who's stronger, you or your dad?
Oh, me. He was strong back in his day, but I surpassed.
How old were you when you got stronger than him? Do you remember the day?
Well, I'll tell you. This actually should have told you this first. He squatted 315 for 33 when he was 17. I'm like, I got for 34. So that's what I did. In that day, I was like.
What was the day you went to the gym, and I'm sure you guys were training together when you were younger. What was the day you went to the gym and you benched more than he did? Do you remember that day?
I benched what?
Do you remember the day that you actually went to the gym where you actually were able to bench press more than your dad? When did that happen? Was that relatively early on, or do you actually remember the day that you actually did it?
No, I actually don't remember, but
I bet he remembers.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
That's funny. Is it when you train, and with your dad, do you feel that there's more pressure when you're working out with him because is he hard on you in that sense in terms of pushing you?
I remember when I was 16, I was getting ready for my first show. I was so depleted, and I was just out of my mind from the diet. I was crying on the leg extensions, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. This is crazy. But then after I calmed down, I'm like, you know what? This is pretty awesome because I bet no one's really doing it like this. And I love training hard. So he pushes me, and I love it because people want to keep pushing.
Yeah. Now, I'm sure I know you're very popular on social media. A lot of people know who you are. especially a lot of the competitors, because I'm friends with a lot of the coaches, and they're like, oh, we know who he is, we know who Giovanni is. And I find that funny because there's a whole little community out there in social media land. How do you deal with the people like who might be negative against you? Because I know there's always going to be people that tell you you're great, but there's a lot of negative haters out there. How do you block them out? A lot of times young guys have problems with that.
I don't know. I just dismiss them. I really don't get much haters, honestly. I don't really think about it either. So if they hate me, I don't know why they would. I just do what I like to do.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of jealousy out there a lot of times. Now, you and I were discussing, what it's like backstage. You got your Hawaiian shirt on. You say, when you were backstage at the last show, you wear your Hawaiian shirt. You're very mellow and chilled out. You're having a good time back there. And then there's the other extreme where there's a lot of guys backstage who are miserable. They got the sweatshirts on with the hoods on, and they don't talk to anyone. What was the response you got from a lot of the competitors backstage, especially seeing that you were so young?
Everyone couldn't believe I was 19, and they were very nice to me.
Oh, good.
It was a great environment. Yeah, when I got there, looking around at everyone, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're all, in these dark hoodies, and they got the hood up, and they're, mean mugging, and I'm in my Hawaiian shirt, sticking out like a sore thumb. And I was just having fun, and that's what I did. So.
What was it like being backstage with Dexter Jackson, who's probably one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time? Holds a lot of records, most wins. Obviously, he's a Mr. Olympia. Was it a special experience for you?
Yeah, he's a very big guy. I've never seen anyone that thick before. Honestly, I've never even been to a bodybuilding show.
I know, that's why I asked you. Isn't that crazy? Why do you think that would be? I would think your dad would have brought you to a couple, at least the Night of Champions that used to be in New York all the time.
No, I don't know. I'd love to go. Yeah, just competed in them. But I saw he's a really nice guy. He's got arms. I saw Juan Morel and John De La Rosa. I told him that he should have won the New York Pro.
I'm sure he loved that. When you look at the guys competing over the last 30 years, which physique do you find the best? Like, what do you say when you look at a physique and say, that's the kind of guy I'd like to look like. I love his physique.
I would like to look like a bigger Bob Paris.
Mm-hmm.
I think, he's got a beautiful physique. I like Kevin LeBron.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could ever look like that, but but that would be. He looks crazy. I love the legs, but I guess Bob Paris.
Now, when looking at the new division they got nowadays, the classic physique division, had you ever thought about doing that, or are you pretty focused on open bodybuilding?
I'm not sure what the weight limits are, but I like open bodybuilding. I'm not really sure where this is all going to take me, but if I got the goods, I'll go wherever it's best for me.
I think at 6'3", you probably would be fine with your weight. Because what did you weigh on stage again? 230, something like that.
Yeah, 231.
Yeah, so you probably still be pretty good just because you're so tall. You'd probably fit into the division. But you're a young guy. I think over the years you're going to put a lot of muscle on. You got this Teen Nationals coming up now in about a week, and obviously winning the title of Teen National Champion would put you in a very elite club. Guys like Branch Warren, Jason Huh, Gerald Williams, who just has done really well relatively recently. What would that mean to you to win that title?
It would mean a lot to me. I mean, I've been wanting to be a team champion for a while, but I think I was ready to compete. I wish I would have competed last year instead of stopping in the off season, but I have no regret. But you made a good point. If it doesn't go my way, this is just a stepping stone, and I'm here to stay, and this is what I love to do. It's not going to define me if it doesn't turn out the way I plan, but I'm just going to come my best. I know a lot harder than I was at my last show on Saturday, so I'm going to be coming at my best. So.
Well, Giovanni, best of luck up there on that teen national stage. I know a lot of guys watching this are going to be rooting for you and hoping that you win this show and make your mark, first stepping stone, so to speak, in a very long career, hopefully.
Thank you, Dave.
All right, that will take us to the end of another episode of Live With, brought to you by Yamamoto Nutrition. I'm Dave Palumbo, and we'll see you next time.